So now we're going to talk about assigning hours for a full month of benefits for two-parent households not receiving childcare. Once again, once we start assigning hours for two-parent households, we need to meet a all-family rate and we need to meet a two-parent rate. For the all-family rate, it states one parent will be completing a minimum of 86 core hours and 43 non-core. Now, when we look at the two-parent rate, however, it states that combined between both parents, the household will be meeting 129 core hours and at least 22 in a core or non-core. And these are the total hours that each rate will need to be met by. So let's go ahead and take a look at two-parent household. Let's say they were approved on October the 1st. Their FLSA is 151. The first parent needs skills. They're not quite job ready. They need some additional skills because their goal is to obtain employment in an office setting and they don't have any office skills. And parent 2, they really need a high school education in order to get that job, okay? So that's where we're going to start off with. Now, for the parent 1, and before I start talking about this, when we're talking about FLSA, we need to make sure that anytime the FLSA, or just understand, anytime the FLSA is over 129, we can't deem, okay? And deeming is, as I stated before, that's where if the FLSA is under the core requirement, we can only assign up to the FLSA. We're going to take whatever's lower. Whatever's lower of the FLSA or the required hours, because we want to make sure that we're not over assigning if, of course, the activity is work experience or community service, okay? And so in this instance, we know right off the bat, based off of the needs of the household, parent 2 needs these HSE classes, okay? And so parent 2, we are going to engage them and we are going to get them completing a minimum of 22 hours. Now they might be completing 50 hours or more. The WPA is going to be written for 22 hours. And we've now taken care of those non-core hours in the two-parent rate. So we still need to look at the 86 core for the all-family rate, the 43 core or non-core, and the 29 core for the two-parent. Now, if in this instance, because the FLSA is over the required hours, the maximum required hours of 129, we know that this parent right here can complete all 129 in this work experience, which is going to be beneficial if they need those skills, right? They can get to their goal and a lot quicker, I should say. And so parent 1, we would give them 129 hours in a core. Now you might ask, why did you do that if you said they need at least 86? Well, remember, I had stated they need a minimum of 86 hours in a core requirement. In this particular scenario, their non-core, their 43 additional are being met also in completing 129 core. That is also going to count over here. They're going to be 129 core. And as I stated before, parent 2 is going to be completing 22 hours in HSE, which is the non-core. And I've already marked that one off by parent 1 completing 129 hours in work experience. They are meeting this 129 core requirement, and they are also meeting this all-family requirement of a total of 129 hours and a minimum of 86 core. They're meeting that right there with that 129 in work experience. Okay, and so this, as I stated before, what works here, works here. We're going to go through another scenario. Now let's say, for instance, parent 2, maybe they need work experience as well, okay? And parent 1, the only thing holding them back is that they need some skills, and they also need some high school, they need their high school equivalency. And so when we're looking at this, we know that within the household, they cannot complete over 151. Now that's for the entire household. That's not based off of, one parent can complete 151 and the second parent can complete 151. The monthly benefits that were paid out to this household only gave them an FLSA of 151, and that's for the entire case. So between both parents, they cannot complete more than 151 hours in work experience or community service, okay? And so let's look at parent 1 here, who needs the additional HSE. This parent 1, we could start off with this core requirement and hit this work experience. So we know we'd have to at least give them 86 hours in work experience, okay? And then we could give them an additional 43 in their high school diploma, for a total of 129, of which a minimum of 86 is being completed in a core requirement, okay? Now when we take this over here and we look at it from the 2-parent standpoint, remember, the hours that you assign here, they can be utilized over here as well. And so you want to take this right over here. We know they're completing 86 hours of work experience, this one parent. They're also completing 43 hours HSE, which is a non-core. This is a core, okay? And so we know right off the bat, if we're looking at this, let me just erase this right here, 129 and 22, for a total of 151. If we're looking at this, are they, based off of what this parent is doing to meet all family rate, are they already meeting something in the requirements of a 2-parent? Yes. These 43 hours in this non-core, they're actually doing more, right? So we've already met this non-core rate, okay? And so we need to look at the 129 core requirement that we're not meeting yet. So far the household is doing 86 hours. So 129 minus 86 is going to leave us with 43 hours. And we know that we still have to meet these hours right here can only be core. And we know that because we need to meet this 129 core. So parent 2, this is what parent 1 is doing. Okay, parent 2, we know that they need to be completing 43 hours, and based off of, the needs of the family, they can do these 43 hours in work experience. Okay, now let me ask you something. We are now at 129 core between this 86 work experience that the first parent is doing and the 43 hours that the second parent is doing. We've now met that. We have already established the fact that by meeting the all family rate and this parent 1 doing 43 hours of non-core, we're meeting this requirement. In fact, we've actually set us up with a little bit of leeway, right? We've established a little bit of a cushion. And once again, I always hear individuals say, well, but we're over assigning hours. We're not, we're simply working with what the family's already doing in order to assign hours in a way that's going to be more beneficial to them, okay? If they were, so they're meeting here, and we've already established that they are meeting at 129 hours, of which at least 86 are in the core requirement, so we're meeting all family. If we assign hours this way, are we going to meet both all family and 2-parent? Yes, okay? Most definitely we are, yay. But let me show you the flip side to that question that I always get. Well, we're over assigning hours, and we're making a hardship on the parents. We're really not. Let's take a look at what this would look like if we didn't assign hours this way. I know that it may look like we're over assigning hours here, but how many are they really doing? Because we've utilized what they're already doing. They're doing, what is that one? 129 plus 43, 172. Okay. Let's look at if we didn't assign hours this way, and so yes, are they, did we technically overassign hours? Yes, but we assigned it in a way that it's setting them up to succeed. Let me show you what it looks like when we set parents up to fail. And this happens all too often, okay? All too often we say, okay, this parent right here, parent 1, we can't use that HSE. I know you're enrolled in it. I know you need it. And I know that it's going to create self-sufficiency for you. But you know what? I can't assign that way because you need to complete 129 core. Okay? So let's just say, for instance, we assign that way and we do 129 core. And we know that they're completing, let's just say, for instance, 43. It could be even more than that. Let's just say we know that this parent 1 is completing at least 43 hours in HSC. And we say, we're not going to count those. I'm going to give you 129 core. You bring that across. You have 129 core here. We're meeting the core requirement here. The second parent, you're going to engage for the 22 hours in a non-core or even a core. Okay, is it going to meet both rates? Yes. Okay, are they completing for the all family rate? Is one parent completing at least 129 hours, of which 86 are core? Yes. Over here, between the both of them combined, is the household completing 129 core hours and then an additional 22 in a core or non-core? Yes, they are. But let's look at how we are really setting them up to, let's really look at the household. So they're completing 129 plus the 22, which is 151. And then this parent over here on their own time that we've already told them we cannot count those hours, they're completing 43 hours of HSD. This household is completing 194 hours. This might be hard for this one parent to balance both the hours that we told them that we couldn't count in HSE. That's going to benefit them on top of 129 core hours in work experience. It might be hard to really, as I state, to balance both of those on top of home life and kids and school, your children's school, things of that sort. So it's really important to look at what what circumstance we're really putting the family in, what circumstances we're putting the family in by assigning hours. Like I said, if you assign it this way, is it going to meet both? Yes, it is. But are we creating additional barriers? Are we really working with them and moving them towards self-sufficiency and giving them attainable goals in a way that you're showcasing your skills for moving this family along? Probably not, okay? If we do it this way, they're completing 172 hours in the household. We're able to count the HSE. Yes, we might be, we're technically over-assigning the 151, but in the long run, we're setting them up to succeed, okay?